African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoy, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the Special Military Operation as of June 20th, 2025. From June 14th to June 20th this year, the armed forces of the Russian Federation carried out 6 group strikes with high-precision weapons and attack unmanned aerial vehicles, which resulted in the destruction of enterprises of the military-industrial complex of Ukraine, fuel and energy infrastructure facilities providing the armed forces of Ukraine, air defense radar stations, arsenals, production workshops, storage and launch sites for attack unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations, special operations forces, and foreign mercenaries. Over the course of a week, units of the North Troop Group advanced deep into the enemy's defenses and liberated the settlement of Novonikolivka in Sumy Oblast. Airstrikes, unmanned aerial vehicles, and artillery fire hit concentrations of manpower and equipment of a tank, 4 mechanized, motorized infantry, ranger, 3 airborne assault brigades, an airborne assault, 2 assault regiments of the Ukrainian armed forces, and 2 territorial defense brigades. In the Kharkiv direction, units of the mechanized, 2 motorized infantry brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, 5 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade were defeated. Over the past week, in the area of responsibility of the North Group of Forces, the enemy's losses amounted to over 1,250 servicemen, 22 combat armored vehicles, 25 cars, and 24 field artillery guns. 2 electronic warfare stations, 11 ammunition and material depots were destroyed. As a result of active actions by units of the West Military Group, the settlements of Moskovka and Dolzhenkoy in the Kharkov region were liberated. Defeat was inflicted on the formations of 3 mechanized, 2 assault, and airborne assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, 3 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade. The enemy lost more than 1,480 servicemen, a tank, 7 armored combat vehicles, 58 cars, and 4 field artillery guns. 12 electronic and counter-battery warfare stations, as well as 25 ammunition depots were destroyed. The units of the Southern Group of Forces improved the situation along the front line. They defeated the manpower and equipment of 8 mechanized, motorized infantry, ranger, airmobile, assault, mountain assault, 2 airborne assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, and 2 territorial defense brigades. Over the week, the Ukrainian armed forces lost over 1,390 servicemen, a tank, 10 combat armored vehicles, including 3 U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carriers, 16 vehicles, and 12 field artillery guns in this area. 7 electronic and counter-battery warfare stations, 14 ammunition and material depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Group of Forces continue to develop the offensive on the territory of the Donetsk People's Republic and the Dnipropetrovsk region. As a result of decisive actions, the settlements of Zeleny Kut, Ulyanovka, and Novonikolivka of the Donetsk People's Republic were liberated. Formations of 6 mechanized, 2 Jaeger, an assault, 2 airborne assault brigades, a brigade and regiment of unmanned systems of the armed forces of Ukraine, 2 brigades of Marines, 3 brigades of the National Guard, and an assault brigade of the National Police of Ukraine were defeated. The enemy lost more than 3,410 servicemen, 43 armored combat vehicles, including 7 U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carriers, 34 vehicles, and 13 field artillery pieces, including 3 Western-made self-propelled artillery units. Over the past week, units of the East Group of Forces advanced deep into the enemy's defenses. They defeated the manpower and equipment of 5 mechanized, airborne assault brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces, a Marine brigade, and 3 territorial defense brigades. The Ukrainian armed forces lost over 1,350 servicemen, a tank, 12 armored combat vehicles, 54 cars, 15 field artillery guns, and 6 electronic and counter-battery warfare stations. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces inflicted losses on formations of 4 mechanized mountain assault brigades, 3 coastal defense brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and 4 territorial defense brigades. The Ukrainian Armed Forces lost more than 470 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 54 vehicles, 3 artillery pieces, 15 electronic and counter-battery warfare stations, 15 ammunition depots, fuel and military technical equipment. Over the course of the week, air defense systems shot down 29 JDAM-guided aerial bombs and 8 U.S.-made Mars multiple launch rockets, as well as 1,190 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles, including 562 outside the Special Military Operations Zone. In total, since the beginning of the Special Military Operation, the following have been destroyed: 663 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 64,585 unmanned aerial vehicles, 611 anti-aircraft missile systems, 23,982 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,572 combat vehicles of multiple launch rocket systems, 26,413 field artillery pieces and mortars, 37,058 units of special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.